Warnings, tips, and strategies for dry January. Hello, I am Kirsten. Welcome to Sobriety Bestie, and this video is about what is dry January and how can you do it. So dry January essentially is not drinking alcohol for the month of January. So why do dry January? Why would anybody want to not drink for January? Some of the many benefits of not drinking alcohol are improved sleep, memory, mood, energy, improved digestion and liver, improved relationships, improved cognition and ability and function at work, as well as clearer skin. Other benefits of not drinking alcohol or taking the month off of drinking alcohol are decreased bloating and weight, decreased blood pressure, dehydration, you'll be more hydrated likely, and saved money. But the big question is, why do dry January? Why are you specifically doing dry January? Go ahead, drop it in the comments why you're doing dry January, what you hope to achieve or learn or feel or experience or understand by giving yourself this break, this vacation from alcohol, if you will, for the month of January. I think this is important is because a lot of the times if we have a big goal, especially if you happen to drink a lot and you're doing like a big goal like not drinking at all, the why is important. The why we're doing something, the reminder of why we're doing it. Like if you're doing it because you want to increase your mood, or if you want to check your relationship with alcohol, like, can I do it? If you want to, if it's for your health reason, if it's for your heart, for something. So whatever your big why is, I would recommend having like a post-it note and putting it somewhere with your why. Sometimes in those hard times about achieving a goal, understanding and connecting to our why can really help hold us accountable and keep us through. I also want to give a warning here with dry January, and for some people it's actually quite risky, and so just know I'm not a medical doctor. This is not a medical advice. This video is for informational purposes only, but I do want to describe to you some of what I read about the complications of going cold turkey on like stop drinking altogether. So within 6 hours of not drinking at all for people who are dependent upon alcohol, the withdrawal symptoms, according to WebMD, include anxiety, shaky hands, headache, nausea, vomiting, insomnia, and sweating. Maybe additional withdrawal symptoms at 12 to 24 hours. So this is from the NIH, from a report there in August of 2022. And here it's talking about symptoms may include hallucinations, alcoholic seizures. So go ahead and press pause and read all of this if you want some of the warning signs. Also, there may be additional withdrawal symptoms at 48 to 72 hours. And there's something called delirium tremens. If you drink a lot, this is something to be aware of, that it can actually be quite dangerous to stop drinking suddenly. So of course, consult with your doctor if you have any concerns about this or before changing your behavior at all. Let's dive right in with tips for how to succeed at dry January. So number one, remove it, hide it, get it out of your mind's eye. So like for me, when I got sober in 2009, now it wasn't doing dry January. I was doing, I'm sober now, hopefully for good. And so I got all the alcohol out of my house. Like I had a house rules at that time, which was no shoes, no booze, right? I got rid of all wine glasses, all alcohol paraphernalia. Now, if you're only doing dry January or maybe sober October, or you're doing some sort of 1 month of not drinking or a temporary period, you might not want to throw away all your wine glasses like I did. But it would be helpful, I believe, to have the wine and anything wine related that's going to trigger you to drink out of sight, either out of the house or out of sight. Put it in a cabinet, take it away, put it where you're not going to see it. See if you can even involve people that you live with to get on the same page with you and not drink it around you. If you can just not have alcohol in your sight, that's ideal. Keep in mind, that's not going to be relevant for everybody. So for some people, it's going to be a lot easier to do dry January. Next, accountability. So whenever we're trying to set out to achieve a goal, it's always nice to have somebody know what we're doing, to be accountable, to let somebody know what our goal is. So tell someone, if you have a roommate or a spouse or family members, like tell someone what you're doing. Even better would be to get like an accountability partner, some sort of sobriety buddy or a dry January buddy if somebody else wants to do it with you. So you have somebody that you could, compare notes with, talk about it, share wins with, and do the whole journey with together. The other piece about accountability, so if you end up being in the way of alcohol with people, like if you go to a bar, for example, with people you used to drink with and they offer you a drink, know your game plan before you get there. Are you going to tell them you're doing dry January? If you're not comfortable with that, what are you going to tell them? Like there were times in my drinking career where I wasn't comfortable saying I'm not drinking right now. I just felt a lot of shame around it. And so I would say I'm on antibiotics, or I feel sick, or whatever. I had a reason, a ready-made reason with me, so that when you go into harm's way, if you speak, into alcohol's way, you have a reason to give people to like let yourself off the hook, so that if you don't want to say straight up, I'm doing dry January, you can tell them something else. So you're basically setting yourself up to win. Next, you want to brainstorm triggers. So this would be a great thing to do to either for right now, if you want to pause this and journal it, or you want to do it a little bit later, but brainstorm all the ways that you might be triggered to drink alcohol. So take a look at all the people that you hang out with that you might be tempted to drink around, the places that you go, whether it's bars or restaurants or wherever it may be that you might be tempted to drink at. And then what are the events? So is it like the weekend where you watch sports and you want to drink? Also time of day. So some people, they always want to drink at 5 o'clock or they want to drink, maybe it's on Saturday nights, or if there's specific days and times that you drink, be aware of what that might be. Another common reason that people drink is emotions. I know I certainly, if I was sad, I drank. If I was happy, I drank, right? So is it emotions? So get a clear list of like what sort of things might prompt you to drink if you're thinking that you might struggle with not actually drinking. Be aware of your triggers. And let's move now into sobriety strategies. So you already have an idea of what your triggers are. And so now moving into this, how can you set yourself up to achieve your goal? Replacement is a good strategy. And knowing this all in advance is also helpful too, especially so that you can set yourself up to win. So when you're going to go out, or when you're going to, like, even if you're going to stay in, right? Because maybe what you want to do is stay in all of January to accomplish this. I know it was a lot easier for me to not drink if I stayed home the entire time, but whatever you're going to do is great. So if you're going to go out and you're going to be with people who are drinking, what are you going to order? What are you going to order at dinner? What are you going to order at the bar? What are you going to order at happy hour if you go? It could be like a soda water with a splash of cranberry and a lime. It could be a non-alcoholic beer. It could be coffee. So have a plan in advance of how you're going to replace alcohol and put something else in its place. If you're at home, maybe you want to Google different kind of non-alcoholic drinks, or you want to look into or have fun with at the grocery store, exploring options. Maybe you want to have cranberry juice splashed in your soda water with a little bit of orange juice or whatever, have fun with it. Figure out some other kind of drink that you can do at home. And if you did keep those wine glasses around because you are planning on drinking after dry January, maybe you want to put something fun and festive in the wine glass. Maybe you want to put a different kind of spritzer or something like that, so you can enjoy these new healthier drinks that you're drinking. Another strategy is to limit your time when you're in alcohol's way. So if you're going to go to a bar, you can limit your time there. You can go there for an hour. If you're going to be with people who drink, you can limit your time there. You can show up late, leave early, whatever it may be. If you think that it's going to be a challenge, set yourself up to win, as I keep saying. So limit your time where you're going to be around people or places or things that are going to encourage you, inspire you, or trigger you into drinking. And I also touched on this before, that one of my strategies would have been avoidance. Like, I legit know people who quit drinking forever, and they just spent like the first year at home, like with their family and their spouse, and that's how they got sober, is they avoided everything. So avoidance is another option. If that's something that is the easiest for you to reach your goal of dry January, then go ahead and try avoidance, either the entire month or one specific night, or maybe you don't go to someone's specific birthday party because they're going to be it's going to be lots of drinking. I know for me, when I first got sober, like maybe I was like 6 months sober even, I had a friend that had a big birthday party, and it was going to be this bar hopping thing. And I told her I was going to go. I was planning on going. I was just going to go less time. I wasn't going to stay out all as late as everybody else. But the day came for that event, and I actually was very triggered that day. I felt like drinking. And so in order to achieve my goal of not drinking, right, to stay sober, I canceled at the last minute. I said, look, I'm not up for it. I would love to celebrate your birthday another time, but tonight I have no business being in a bar. I'm not drinking right now. Well, I'm sober, So there is also this seeing how you feel in the moment and having that game time decision about whether you participate in certain events or places or with people or whatever. So trust yourself. I also want to talk about coping, because for a lot of us, the reason why we drink is because it gives us relief, right? Alcohol is technically a depressant. It depresses our system. We also might be elated from it, but it's a great, in a way, like it takes the edge off, right? People want to drink at the end of the day if they have a stressful day to take the edge off. So what is another way that you can cope with taking the edge off? So an example of this is when you get home from work, instead of reaching for a glass of wine, you could go out for a walk and do a walk around your neighborhood, do some sort of exercise or some sort of movement. So you're still you're just changing up the routine. You're getting also some endorphins from moving your body. It's not the same as drinking, but it's replacing that activity to take the edge off with another activity that also can help a bit. I also want to guide you to a video. I'll post it up here. It is emotions in early sobriety. There's a lot of techniques and strategies in this video for people specifically about how to navigate their emotions in early sobriety, but it's also relevant if you're taking a month off drinking and all the emotions come up and alcohol usually soothes you and you want to look at other techniques and strategies. In fact, I think this would be a great idea if you're going to move forward into February to be drinking again, is if you, when you move back into your regular life, right, with some more strategies so that you can just have more ways to self-soothe. Another exciting thing to share with you is that I have a whole playlist called Relax and Regulate, and I'm adding videos to that all of January this month. So if you're doing dry January, there'll be new videos in the Relax and Regulate playlist. I'll pop the playlist up here, and it'll be going through teaching you how to have a new relationship with everything inside. So stress, emotions, anxiety. These are going to be vital, though they've been vital for me and my students over the past decade, about how to live and thrive without alcohol and how to navigate everything that comes up inside so that we learn how to take the edge off, so to speak, with our consciousness. So that even if we go and drink again, we still have more strategies and techniques so that we can use our consciousness to alleviate the discomfort. And of course, be gentle with yourself. For a lot of us, this is not easy. You know, most of us live in a society where drinking is really normal. Maybe we've drank a long time. I certainly drank a long time. And so doing something new or setting out like a goal like this can be very difficult. And if you do drink, it's totally fine. Like if you drink less than you would have normally, that's a win, right? And so if you do drink, then it shifts into, okay, so maybe I had a couple drinks in January, or maybe it shifts into this other thing that's called damp, sounds weird, damp January. So your dry January becomes a damp January. I did not make that up. I also think it's interesting. Can you hear the rain? It's totally raining outside while I'm making this dry January video. But so it becomes like a damp January. So you didn't get the big goal, but you're still on the way. You're still looking at your relationship with alcohol. You're still making moves towards what it is that you want to do, and keep going. So what? You had a drink or you got drunk. The next day, just wake up and get back onto the dry January thing. You didn't mess up. You keep going, you know, just hit it again. Like my goal is to do this again. And you're just exploring and having a good time. And you're just, you're enjoying January. Enjoy January. And the last thing to consider with your dry January endeavor is, what do you want for the rest of the year? What do you want for February? What is February going to look like? A lot of us, when we limit ourselves, we might rebound, right? So if you do, maybe dry January is really easy for you. Maybe you like white knuckle it through and it's difficult. Maybe you end up transitioning into like a damp January. So what happens when February comes? So when some of us, when we limit ourselves, we can rebound, right? So that when we rebound into binge drinking or drinking a lot or doing a lot of the thing that we had been limiting ourselves from. So before February starts, consider what you want February to be. Are you going to go back to whatever normal was? Keep in mind that your tolerance is going to be different. So if you used to have like 4 drinks before, 4 drinks is going to feel different at first than it did in December, right? If you didn't drink during January. So keep in mind your tolerance might change or would have changed a bit. But what do you want February to be like? Do you want to go back to everything the way that it used to be? Is this just like a January experience or like a 1 month experience? Or are you learning something about your relationship with alcohol and you want to change it? There's no right or wrong here. It's just like, what do you want your life to be like? Did you learn anything from this? And does it give you any insight into what your best life would be like? I'll also be making a video about damp January, which is talking about how to reduce alcohol drinking. So whether that's just for 1 month or whether that's just for a long-term strategy. A lot of us can potentially, before we become full-blown into alcohol use disorder, right? If we're on that trajectory, can limit it before that. While we still have control, we can reel it in so that it doesn't become a problem, so that we don't have to get sober or quit drinking. We can reel it in before that. And so in the damp January, I'll be talking about reducing alcohol in general. I also want to let you know I have a lot of playlists on my channel, on the Sobriety Bestie channel, that you might vibe with. There's a playlist on getting sober, on early sobriety. There's a playlist on emotional sobriety, anxiety and fear. There's meditation. So take a peek around. Oh, and psychedelics and sobriety. Take a peek around the Sobriety Bestie YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, if you want to make sure you get notifications, turn that little bell on so you'll know when I'm sending new videos your way. And wherever you're at in your journey with January and beyond, I wish you much peace and much freedom and happy 2023. I'll see you in the next video.